Jessica, are you playing with the computer again? Oh, come here. Tummy time is over. Oh, it's on live. Okay. Oh, hold on, everyone. Hold on. I gotta go take baby Jessica to the crib. Oh, you are so cute. You're getting so big. You're looking just like Uncle Seth. Harold says you don't look like Uncle Seth, but Uncle Seth thinks you do. And did you get on the AI app for that live? That's so smart of you. All right. Hold on one second, everyone. All right. Oh, welcome to this, the top 25 books of all time. We've done top 25 movies, and now we are doing the top 25 books. And I have definitely not done this video already. Maybe there's some Mandela effect going on or something. No, I have, and I kind of recreated some of the scenes. There was a bit of an issue. This video was cursed, and I'm hoping it won't be cursed now, but I think I worked out the issue of the Wi-Fi, so we're just doing it again. But I wasn't even going to do the top 25 books because I was like, well, maybe people won't be into that. You know, this is YouTube. But then something happened. I finally got my new bookshelf set in. At the exact same time that I was thinking about doing this episode, I made the bookshelf. I've been working on, I'm a little bit of a carpenter, and my dad helped. My dad helped a lot with it, but I wanted to show it to you all. So this is it, my new bookshelf. I got all my favorite books. And some fun ones too. Oh, and look, I got my little friend in there. And I just like that decoration. I just think it looks cool. Her peeking out. I got all these books. Some of my favorite books of all time. And I really like the wood I got for this dark stain for it. I think it really worked. So if you all didn't know, it used to be that bookshelf was like a whole mound of books just sitting in there. If you watch any of my old videos, you can see it just sitting there in the background. And finally, we were able to make it look dignified. And I even, for this book episode, got in my Harry Potter shirt and Harry Potter pajama pants because it's themed. Not to say that Harry Potter is going to make the top 25, but we'll see. But yeah, a lot. So I'm all ready. I am all ready to go for the best books ever. And I should keep my voice down because baby Jessica has been doing a really good job being asleep. But I know she might hear us. It was crazy because all this chaos was going on with the early version of this video, and baby Jessica just slept through it. And I woke her up right now, put her down on her belly, and I'm pretty sure she's back there in the crib asleep. But if you didn't know, I'm sure most of you didn't watch the original live that I posted, but Harold and Ginny went out for dinner. They're here for Thanksgiving. Well, they're closer. Harold and Ginny are going to come over and visit and everything. So I was going to watch Jessica for them, and I've been babysitting, and it's been great. But yeah, I'm not getting paid for it, though. I'm going to get a dinner. Harold, you're rich. You better buy me dinner at least. That's a joke. We call him rich, but they make pretty good money. But yeah, Yeah, I'm being an uncle. I'm on uncle duty. I'm trying not to wake up baby Jessica, who is really a perfect angel and never even cries. But we got to get started on the top 25 books. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen, and we will get started here. Oh, so now I got to make sure that you all are here. You all are probably here. We'll get started here at guess the 7-minute mark. I got to try to go pretty fast. I feel like I can get away with going to bed at 11:30. I understand too if a lot of you aren't here. This was a last minute thing. I just really did not like the original video that I made. It went really wrong. I mean, it just went so wrong. Very well then. So I do Harry Potter and I love Frankenstein, but I am not going to be putting those in my top 25. And it was a hard decision. I do think that Harry Potter could easily be in the top 30, but I couldn't go as far as 25. And J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter franchise is one of the masterpieces of the ages. But it's hard to pick 100% of those titles, even in the movies. But let us take a look at what we're working with here. So we've 100% did not count. It was hogwash. And we are going to start not with A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be a D tier. We're going to start with Robinson Crusoe. So I'm going to put that at the C tier for now, even though I do really love it. And I most simple, beautiful stories ever made. And it's definitely one that I can, because I'm going to do these two things. I'm going to recommend and I'm going to say what's wrong with saying what's wrong. So you know that like there is something wrong with all of these stories. There's no such thing as a perfect book or a perfect movie. It's just about how close to 100% you can get. Robinson Crusoe is about this man who gets caught on an island. And it's really about his survival, him, how he survives, how he makes food, how he gets water. And, he spends all his time by himself and he begins to crave human affection. And he ends up coming across an individual that, back in those days would not have been seen as like, okay, it was Friday. He was a slave. And he befriends him, and it's such a beautiful story about how we're not really so different from each other. And I don't want to give anything away, but it is so beautiful, the message of this. It is definitely one of my. It's definitely deserves its place as a classic. Definitely deserves 100%. If I had anything wrong to say about it, I don't know. Maybe you'd get bored of hearing about how somebody survives on an island. Maybe that's not for you. And would I officially recommend this book? Heck yeah, I would. It's short, it's fun, it's not as long and intricate as a lot of these stories are. So, yeah, definitely. Next book up, Catch 22. So, this I think I'm also going to put in the C category. I will put it above Robinson Crusoe, though. It is a humorous book for sure. It's written by Joseph Heller, and this is one of the few books that I've actually given to someone else, and they've been like, "This is really good." But to be fair, I don't think my family's into classic literature, so I don't always know if they're the best judges. It's also one of the more recent books on this list. Something that I did during the film review was that I had a whole bunch of films that were from different times, and I feel like that's very important because I think a lot of lists of films can be just modern times too much. There's way too many modern movies. You should have at least three movies that are before the 1970s on your list of the greatest films of all time. If you don't have at least three, then you haven't been watching films. That's like a whole period of time, many like like about 70 years of filmmaking that you're missing out on, and you don't have at least three in the top 10. No, I don't believe it. It's just not possible. And for books, a lot of these books will be from like some of them are from the 1400s, the 1800s, and that makes sense because there's been a lot of books written, and some of them should be from those periods. There really shouldn't be that many modern titles, and there's not a ton, to be honest. But getting back to the subject at hand, Catch 22 stars Usarian, and he's a pilot, and he wants to get out of the army, and he's doing all these amazing things in the airplane, hoping they'll let him out, but he's always falling into a Catch 22. And I guess this is my kind of humor, but I get the feeling it's not going to be everybody's type of humor. So maybe it won't be for you. That would be the downside to this. But would I give it an official recommendation? No, it's deep. It can be depressing, but funny. Next up is Stephen King's It. And I am going to put that above Catch 22. Should I? I'll put it behind Catch 22. Well, yeah, I'll put it above Catch 20. Above Catch 22. Okay, behind. That's it. Deadlocked. Nope. So this is a big book, and the reason why I was so hesitant about putting it behind Catch 22 is because of its epic feel. And it's one of the three books in here that I was hesitant about including because it is disturbing. It's definitely not a book for everyone. I wouldn't officially recommend this. It's disturbing. It's a horror story, but I do like horror. I know that my film list didn't have many horror choices in it. I'd probably pick like The Bride of Frankenstein and Jaws if I were to continue that list. Not that they're officially ranked at 100%, but I want to give them 100% and probably would if that list had gone on to like 35. But it is a story, and in my opinion, I'm sure a lot of people will disagree. It is a battle between good and evil. It's the battle between the turtle and the clown. And everything else to me, the kids trying to defeat him, it's all about that. But it's not like a usual battle. I don't think the turtle and the clown want to kill each other necessarily. Maybe the clown wants to kill the turtle. But at the end of the story, it's left debatable about whether Pennywise actually died. I would say it's also debatable whether the turtle died. It's that whole dream sequence, that whole thing in, I don't know what it was, some kind of like spirit realm. It's very debatable what was going on there. I don't think either the turtle or Pennywise die at the end, especially since that boy, I can't imagine that he broke all those eggs. But once again, I do want to emphasize this is a controversial book. It was rough for me to read. There was moments in it where I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to say what they are because I think this video will get flagged by YouTube, but be warned, it is a rough read, but it's also incredibly epic. Don't like the pop culture references though in it, and yeah, uh, that's about it. I think. Yeah, I'd say not official recommendation, but if you're feeling frisky. I was thinking of watching that It Welcome to Derry series, but I might be too scared of it. It's like, I don't know. I'm gonna try to brave it, but I don't know. I should. Yeah, it might be tough on me. I might take a look at it. I'll see how people feel about it first. Next up is East of Eden. Okay, this is by John Steinbeck, and I would say I'm sorry. I know I hesitated. This is an official ranking. I want to get this right, so we're putting it above Catch 22, but not above East of Eden. Okay. All right. Sorry. We're just gonna put it behind where I said it was. It's close though. If it weren't, and I get what Stephen King was going for with the pop culture references. I just can't approve of it. But East of Eden is a story of Adam and Eve. It's a retelling, but they kind of change a lot of it. There'll be like the two sons, one's going Cain, or he's not called Cain, but he's Cain. He's going off to be rich, and the other boy Abel, is trying to be poor. And it's a beautiful story about the father and his son's relationships. Originally, the story is about, it's a two-part story. The first part's about the father and his brother, and then the next part's about the next brothers. So I also really love the villain in this story, the lady. Apparently, this is actually John Steinbeck's favorite character, and it's also his favorite book too, but that's besides. But anyways, I agree with him. That character was great. A lot of the critics did not like the villain in this story. I thought she was perfect. She was wonderful. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. Yeah, but something to note about this list. I did try to get all of the pronunciations right. I looked them up. It is possible I could make a mistake. If I do, please tell me down below in the comments. I always love to hear. We're doing a lot of C tier though right now. And up next is Notes from the Underground. This is by Fyodor Dostoevsky. See that thing about pronunciation? I did look these up, so I'm pretty sure I got them right. But this book, official recommendation, no. It's a bit too much for some people, I think. But it is an experience. And the one negative I'd say is, I don't know. It wasn't really my thing, honestly. I think it's only going to connect for certain people. That's the thing. It connected for me at enough of a level, but I think for certain people it's really meant for. But I still liked it. I still thought it was a masterpiece. Notes from the Underground is a weird book because it begins with philosophy. It's this man called the Underground Man philosophizing about like life, and then it moves into him trying to YouTube won't allow it again. We'll just say meet a person of the oldest profession. You all can figure it out from there. Oh, it's so strange. It was so engaging to me. And even the beginning I thought was perfect. But I do understand, as a down note, some people might not like all that philosophizing, and I can't give an official recommendation. But yeah, probably one of the greatest books ever written. Okay, next up, Gone with the Wind. I'm putting that in the A tier. So you all know that Gone with the Wind is one of my favorite films, and it's also one of my favorite books. I think it is a masterpiece. I think, I mean, I guess not everybody's read or watched Gone with Winnipeg. Probably a lot of people haven't. But it's about Scarlett O'Hara and her life in the South. And it does show a negative side to the South and the Confederates, even though I'm almost 100% sure Margaret Mitchell was in support of the Confederacy. And if you have a problem with that, you might not want to read this book. It's hard for me to judge things in that way, to like look at the issue and be like, okay, so they supported this issue. This isn't a good book. It, it's so many of these old books too. It's like they don't support issues that maybe we today. So many books don't pass the time, barrier. They'll be offensive to today's standards, but it's so well written. I mean, these characters are so. I mean, Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler will always be two of my favorite characters, at least favorite couple, I'll say, in literature and film. And I will say that it is more of a story about humans than any one issue, although it is probably in support of the Confederates. I don't get why people don't like it. A lot of talking, I guess. It's a big book, so prepare yourself. I can't give an official recommendation because of that, actually. Moving on to 1984 by George Orwell. Oh man, I guess the B tier for now. Is that right? 1984 is a powerful book, and it's about Winston Smith and his, a girl that he falls in love with, Julia, but he's not supposed to be in love with her because he's already married, and his life is controlled by Big Brother. He has to do whatever they say, and he falls in love with this girl. And he ends up breaking the rules. And I don't want to give away the ending, but it's a warning for all ages. It really is. And George Orwell, I love Animal Farm too. It could be on this list. I kind of regret not putting Frankenstein on this list, even though I have problems with it. I'll admit, I do want to say real quick that great books, we talk about great authors and stuff and the books that they write. I'm sure there's some guy on the street written these. We just never knew about it. That's just the way life works, sadly. All we can do is look at the ones that made it. There's probably even greater works out there. And it's a shame we don't get to see those books. I mean, for goodness sakes, I love Mary Shelley. Frankenstein is one of my favorite books, probably. I don't know if I could give it 100%, maybe like a 99. But I do admit, she can't, I mean, we brag about her like, I hate to say this, but we brag about her being like a great author at such a young age. I mean, she grew up in a family of writers. I mean, her mom was incredibly she wrote quite a lot of books, A Vindication of the Rights of a Woman. But still, very impressive still what she did. Her book's one of the greatest books ever. I don't mean to be mean. And it's just honest to say that. It's honest to say she had a lot of advantages, for sure. Oh, this is one of my favorite books as well. Obviously, all of these are my favorite books, but I love A Christmas Carol. I think I love it more than some of the more intricate books on here. We all know what A Christmas Carol is. You've watched the Muppet version and the dinosaur version and the one where the ghosts got their own like government and stuff, and they're like watching over people. You've seen it all. And it's amazing that it's still just as good to me now as it was after seeing all of these versions, because it's such a perfect story. I think in my original Charles Dickens review, I said it was like in 4th place. I regret that. It is now officially in his top 3 at least books. We'll see here in a second. but highly recommend this. You'll definitely enjoy it. And it's short. It's not like a lot of these books on here. It's only like 100 pages, less than that, I think. And the only bad thing I can say, people today might complain that Ebenezer Scrooge went too crazy at the end with his generosity. I think that's a little dumb, but I guess if you want some criticism of the book, I'll give it that. I think it's pretty much as perfect as a book can be. Next up, Call the Wild. I really want to put this on the list, but the list is gonna get full. I did 25 this time. I think I have a few extras in here to put in the D category. We'll see what we have to put in the D's. Last time I did 27 really, 27 films, because two of them you already all knew about, so I thought I'd add two extra, 25 films. I didn't have that problem this time. I haven't really put down any of my favorite books yet in a tier list. Call of the Wild, I can definitely put it. I'd put it above. Would I put it above it? Well, maybe not. It's so good. I think this is Hippie's favorite book for some reason. Of course, the fact that this is told from the viewpoint of Buck, a dog, is beautiful. It's so amazing, like, to pull that off, to see from the viewpoint of a dog. I don't even think A Dog's Purpose was able to pull that off, although the writer had a little bit of an excuse because the dog had been living for a long time, because you just say, well, he's just been alive for a very long time, and that's why he knows all this stuff. But I didn't get that from this book. I really thought Buck was a dog that could write a story. And it's cool to go from like the people that actually live in the wild and then go to the people that don't and they just die. And eventually Buck, I don't want to give anything away. I hope you read this book. Definitely recommend. And it's not that long. And the only negative I'll say, it's violent towards dogs. If you don't like seeing dogs get hurt, this isn't the book for you, man. Nobody likes to see the dog get hurt. Moving on. The Count of Monte Cristo. Oh yeah, this is going up in the S tier. The best book right now. All these others are sitting here in the D tier. We'll just leave them there. No, I'm just kidding. But The Count of Monte Cristo, I'm sure most of you have heard about this. It's about Dante and how he gets framed for a crime, goes to prison, ends up escaping, and plots revenge against the people that sent him to jail. I read this book in high school, and it's so engaging. And I don't even agree with the criticism that's often leveled against it, that the first book isn't really like the second book. They're two separate books. They were released at separate times. They've been combined together. I have combined the two together just for the sake of making this simple. I mean, most of the time when people think of The Count of Monte Cristo, they're not imagining a two-part book. So I just said, well, it's one book, just for the sake of simplicity. But it is actually two stories, and that is important to remember, because the first story isn't exactly like the second story. It's different. But yeah, it is so amazing. I mean, I never really liked the Three Musketeers, so Alexander Dumas is Count of Monte Cristo was a very needed and wonderful improvement. I do recommend it. It's long, though, so you might not be into it. It seems like a lot of people today, though, really like it compared to a lot of the books on this list. Some of them are a little, archaic, of course. I understand. Believe me, I understand that some of these books you might not want to read because they're too long. I'd like to give this, though, an official recommendation. I will say that. It might, if you like long books, you'll definitely like this one. And I guess the negative is the thing about it being two books and they're kind of different from each other, whatever. The Brothers Karamazov. This is another one I'm really hoping I say right, because it is going up in the S tier too. So, this one I definitely don't recommend because it's long and intricate. It's about three brothers, Alyosha, Ivan, and Dmitri. And once again, it's about somebody getting set up for a crime that they didn't commit, but it's a little more interesting this time. And a lot of it's, amazingly, a lot of it takes place in this trial room. And they're trying to figure out whether he's innocent or not. But he puts in so much Fyodor Dostoevsky, like intrigue into what's going on and these people talking. And I actually did do a video on the Brothers Karamazov with Gorman and Harold. Not a lot of people watched it, of course. It's it's not going to be something people are going to be interested in. So a few people did. I mean, I actually got some comments with people saying this is one of their favorite books. I'll say this: the first 100 pages didn't really capture me, but then once you get past that, it gets so good. And even the first 100 pages was great. I'm not saying that. Maybe just a little bit weird on the first 100 pages. And it's a bit of a fantasy too. It has like this angel of science. It's very interesting, but I think it's great. I'm sorry. I can't recommend it, but I will say it's one of the most it's one of his most powerful stories and definitely deserves to be on the S tier. Next up is David Copperfield, which I'm also putting on the S tier. I think I'll put it, definitely above Count on Monte Cristo. So this is not The Magician. I am sorry to disappoint you. This is about a man who keeps falling in love with women and his relationships fail. And he's trying to find a woman that he can love and marry and be happy with. It has a really beautiful opening line. And I don't want to give anything away, but it has a perfect ending. And I don't know. I guess it doesn't have like the same catch as Great Expectations or Christmas Carol does. People don't tend to like think of David Copperfield in the same way as they do with Great Expectations and A Christmas Carol, which I do understand why people think Great Expectations might be the better one of the two. I can't agree with that myself. I'd go with David Copperfield, but it's close. That's the thing. It is so close between those two. So not an official recommendation, but do love it. If you love this kind of literature, if you're already saying, "Oh, I know that novel. I really like that one," even though it's 700 pages, you're going to like some of these novels, I'm sure of it. Then there is She. This is a fun one. Although I do consider all these books fun. I didn't pick any book I didn't find fun for this list. I'm pretty sure most of you haven't read H. Haggard's She. It's not a well-known book. It is a classic, technically, but only technically. And it's a similar theme to it, well, not a similar thing, but a similar character in it to Pennywise. There's this woman, Aisha, and she's this god almost. And these two guys, Horace and Leo, go off on this adventure into these marshes, and they find her. And she's beautiful. She's smart. She knows all this ancient stuff, all this ancient magic. And she's the villain. Late to the live, but still here nonetheless. Oh, thank you so much. Don't worry about being late to the live because this came out of nowhere. I did a original version of this, and I hated it. So much went wrong. The computer did something. The Wi-Fi was going bad, and I ended up doing this video like last minute, so I wasn't going to be upset. I was just these videos are made for people who want to listen to them in their car. So and then hear about these kind of like this kind of stuff, the stuff that I like to talk about. But yeah, no, absolutely no problem. I did this way too late. I'm gonna try to get done by 11. But anyways, I definitely would recommend She. It is a fun adventure story. It's not like some of these books on here. It really is fun, even for our modern times. It's really interesting, all the stuff that all the magic in it. Definitely recommend. Next up is Little Women, Louise Alcott. And I think I could put that. I think I'd put that in the C category. No. I think originally when I did this list to be, oh no, I'll put it in the B category. Okay. And by the way, these categories, there's no rule to them. I don't care. I think I originally wanted to put like maybe 10 of them. I don't care. I just want to feel like if these 100% are B's and C's. It's a joke. All of these books are 100%. I'm just like forcing them into slots. But I think a lot of people have heard about Little Women. It's Jo, Beth, Meg, and Amy. And they're quirky girls. I love a quirky girl. I know there's some people that complain about that cliche in filmmaking and TV. I'm still kind of in love with it. I love a little quirky girl. They're fun to watch. I mean, I'm sorry. That's what it's about when you're making literature. Jo, man, what a character. Holy cow. I will say about this book, this isn't a criticism at all, but it is depressing to me. It's even more depressing than any of these other books for some reason. And I don't know why. It doesn't even have that sad of an ending. Little Woman was actually the first book that got me into reading. I know, it is so good. I love a book that engages me, because there's a lot of books that I'd put like on a different like I'd put up in the top 100, but they're not maybe as engaging as these top 25. This was a hard list to come up with. I'm really mad at myself that I wasn't able to put Harry Potter on this list, but it came close. Harry Potter was definitely close to being on this list. Yeah, it is a sad book though, isn't it, Little Women? I don't know why. There's something about it, but I love it. I love it. I don't mind it. There's a lot of happy moments too. They play a lot of games. All right, we gotta move on. Les Miserables. That's actually how it's pronounced. That is right? Les Miserables. Yeah, I think it is. Hold on. Les Miserables. Yeah. Les Miserables. I kind of sound like I don't know what I'm talking about there, but no, that's actually how it's pronounced. Although I've heard different pronunciations of it, to be fair. Again, I gotta warn you all, it is pretty intricate of a story. Very long. I can't officially recommend it for that reason. If you do like long books, then definitely. Definitely. If you've seen the musical, which I do like, maybe not, obviously it doesn't have the same level as the book because the book's got a lot more length, but for a musical I might rank, I don't know if I give it 100%. I'm not going to say that, but I will say I rank the musical highly. I'm not one of those people that are too hard on like the film adaptions of books. I can actually be pretty lenient. I love movies, love books. This book's interesting because when it was released, a lot of people had a problem with it because of the politics in it. And this is one of the reasons why I'm hesitant of like saying anything bad about Gone with the Wind, because I mean, so much, politics do change, so much with the wind, I guess. But nowadays, the issue that Les Miserables is talking about. People don't even discuss anymore. They don't care. This wouldn't even be seen as controversial. Just goes to show you how things can change throughout the years. It's yeah. Also, a lot of critics complained about the characters, and I'll say this: these are some of the most intricate characters I've ever seen put on print. Jean Valjean, Javert, uh, those two landowners, the two pub owners. Sorry, the two pub owners. It is really it's a book you can really follow. It does have a lot of scenes in it, which I'm sure a lot of people would say you could go ahead and cut, but I wouldn't cut a single one. It's just part of the experience, honestly. All the stuff that happens, even some of the stuff that feels unnecessary. I think it really is beautiful, honestly. And of course, it's about a man, steals a loaf of bread, goes to jail for way too long for it, gets out, gets free, and all he wants to do is be a good man. I mean, it's a great story for the ages, for sure. Shows you anyone can, do anything. All right, next up, Madame Bovary. Madame Bovary. You have to say Madame. You can't say Madame. You have to say Madame. It's fancy. Now that's the real pronunciation too. You know what? No, I'm an American. I'm calling her Madame Bovary. Probably better than Christmas Carol. Better than Little Women. I don't know. This is a hard one. I'd say, yeah. Wait. Yeah. Okay. There was something about Russian novelists where most of the books they write are about like wives cheating on their husbands. This is one of those stories. It's about a woman that cheats on her husband, and she's such a fascinating character. It's so interesting to go into her mind and see like how she goes through all the things she sees, how she looks at like life. She's a fascinating character. She's not normal. She's clearly not normal, but she has a lot of good stuff to her too. It's unfortunate, some of the stuff that happens in this book, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I'd say don't read it, because I can't give an official recommendation. It's not long though, to be fair. I'll also say this is one of those weird books you can find at like free libraries all the time. They're like they pop up, it pops up everywhere. I'll go to a library, I'll go to like pretty much anywhere, I'll find it somewhere. I don't know what it is about this novel by I'm going to say his name because I can. Gustave Flaubert. It pops up everywhere. It's an interesting study in psychology. That's Madame Bovary. Guess I love me some Russian novels. I don't know. Some of these books are definitely not going to be from America. I mean, good gosh. It should be a list where not every book is from America. Unless it's a list about American books, I guess. Next up is Gulliver's Travels. I'll put it at the A tier. This one's, I can't give an official recommendation for it because it's a little weird, but it is a fairy tale. It's for kids, so I think most people would like it, and it is parts, so it is short. I'll go ahead and say, yeah, go ahead and read it, but just be aware that it is weird sometimes. I mean, there's like these talking horses, and he runs around naked with them. I get it. It could be weird to some people. I love me a good island book, though. That's the truth. Island adventure stories, if you don't know, is my weakness. It's just something that I really do enjoy. And by the way, baby Jessica has been doing great right now. I can't believe she hasn't woken up, and I have been as loud as heck for like the last past 4 hours, and she only like woke up once, like, and then I just took her out. She cried just a little bit, took her out, put her on her belly. She was fine. That is a good girl Harold and Ginny have. But it's fun. There's like little Lilliputs that he meets, and there's giants, and then he meets a whole city of people on this floating island and talking horses. I think it's fun. I really do. It's why it's up so high, honestly. Also has a lot to say, though. It's kind of a book against smart people. It kind of makes fun of them, how like, oh, they figured all this stuff out, but they just don't even know like all these basic stuff of human life. And now we come to the most controversial book on this list, Lolita. So I'm going to put this in, I'll put it in the A category. This book proves to me that the devil himself can write a masterpiece. And I know a lot of people think this story is not an ambiguous take on pedophilia. I disagree. And here's my argument. Even if Vladimir Nabokov wrote this book with the intention, and I think he did. I actually think I remember him saying that that was not what he was trying to do at all. But even if he didn't, and I think even there's a part of me that thinks maybe he was trying to take an ambiguous look at it, and he just didn't want to tell people that because he didn't want, obviously he didn't want that. But but even if he didn't mean it to be, even if he didn't mean it to be an ambiguous take on pedophilia, that's what happened. So many people have like different views about what this story means. And some of them are interesting, like this guy is clearly insane. He can't help himself is the idea. So like, shouldn't we be studying this kind of stuff? Shouldn't we try to understand it? And not like, it's such a hard book to talk about because it's so disturbing. I don't recommend this. I didn't even want to read this book, but I was like, well, I might as well. I just read it, which was a 1,000-page book about a clown, which I guess is another reason why maybe you shouldn't read this book, because it is a 1,000-page book about a clown. But this is a book about a really controversial subject to even mention. And I think this book is one of the most evil things to ever exist, but it's engaging, it's well written, the characters are intricate, Humphrey Humbert, and I'd even say Lolita is a fascinating character, even though a lot of people don't mention that. So yeah, it definitely deserves to be on 100%. Definitely one of the greatest books ever written. And the reason to not read it, like my criticism of it, come on, it's pretty obvious. Moby Dick is up next. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the A tier. I got to put it below Gone with the Wind. I read this book when I was in 5th grade. It was one of the first big books that I ever read. Maybe that's why it's even on this list, because I just have a good relationship with it. I really liked it, especially the beginning. The beginning was my favorite part, even better than the ending. Ishmael meeting Captain Ahab. There's some scenes, especially when he's in his hotel room, that really captivated me as a child. And I know, and this is the criticism, there is a lot of stuff about whaling. But to be fair, it's interesting. I like hearing about whaling. I want to learn a little bit about it. But if you're not into that, yeah, I guess not. It is kind of a practice that we don't really do anymore. Obviously, we almost hunted the whale to extinction or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if it was extinction, endangered, I guess. I think we did cause some whales to go extinct. I'm sure Herman Melville would not have liked that, though. I don't know really what this book is about, and I think it is meant to be ambiguous what Captain Ahab is actually chasing. The best explanation I've ever heard was it's the Holy Grail. I do like that, but can't officially recommend. But sure, so I'm into it. Sorry, I love me some island adventures, especially in book form and in movie form too. War and Peace. It's War and Peace. You might not want to read this book. It might be too much for you. It's the biggest. Well, it's a big book. I actually think Les Miserables is a bigger book, but whew, yeah. Again, it's a Russian novel about a wife cheating on her husband. Those always seem to make this list for some reason. Natasha. This one has a more positive outlook on it, though, whereas the rest of the ones on this list are more negative. And I mean, I really think it's cool too because they have a main character in this, and what happens, I don't want to give away anything, but what happens to him is interesting because it doesn't happen in a lot of novels this big that they'll do something like that. And what's even more surprising is that it works. Of course, there's a lot of characters going on. It's hard to follow. It's definitely not going to be everyone's thing. But when you're making a list like this, you've got to include the heavy hitters. There's so many books out there that the heavy hitters are really going to be the ones that I'm going to talk about. And War and Peace is one of the heavy hitters. I hope someone out there does like these books. I really do. They're definitely huge. All right. A Confederacy of Dunces. I will put that in the A category, but not above Gulliver's Travels. It's about Ignatius Riley. He is a man who's fat, and he lives with his mom, and he doesn't have a job, and his mom says, go get a job. And it's about him working, making wieners for people. He makes hot dogs all day. Doesn't make much money, but his mom's happy that he's working. And then things like really start getting intense. No one gets hurt. It's not a disturbing book. It's a funny book, very lighthearted. I love the dialogue that John Kennedy Toole implies. Such a shame that we lost this man, because this his first book was so good, and it's so well written too. Just yeah, the characters are intricate. Yeah. Trying to think of a complaint. Sorry. It's a little gross sometimes. Ignatius can be kind of gross. I do love his relationship with his girlfriend too. At first, you're like, oh, she doesn't even like him. She thinks he's some kind of crazy weirdo. Then you find out, no, she actually does like him, and she's a crazy weirdo too. It's really sweet. Next, and an official recommendation. Yeah, go ahead, read it. Not well. It is a little bit weird. Maybe. Put it at a maybe. Next up, the hardest one to say, Anna Karenina. Am I right? Anna Karenina. Yeah, I was right. I'm hitting 100 today. Anna Karenina. Yeah. No. I think it's better than War and Peace. Another story from Russia where the wife's cheating on the husband. I guess that just happens a lot in Russia. My favorite scene from this is where there's like 100 pages of grass cutting, and it's not actually that well. Like he could have trimmed it down, but since it's such a big book, I'll give it a pass. It goes on way too long, that grass cutting, though. It's pretty funny to me, actually. There's like 100 pages where this guy's like cutting grass with some other guys. It's kind of interesting how they did it, though, back then, how they cut grass. Yeah. I kind of liked Anna Karenina. the character. I will say, though, somebody should just throw her under a train. Okay. I kind of gave away something there. Not really. There's a lot more to that book. But I wouldn't give it an official recommendation. It's very long and intense. Maybe if you really just want to read the greatest book of all time, which I would consider all these books definitely to be the greatest books of all time. I mean, they all could be. Again, it's a joke putting them in A, B, and C. Obviously, they're higher than that. Great Expectations. Better than Gone with the Wind. Can't put it above Lolita, though. This is about Pip. He starts off poor, and he falls in love with a girl named Estella, and it's about his obsession with her. And obsession is always an interesting topic when you're a storyteller, and this one really dives into it. It also discusses a lot about being poor and being rich. It's interesting to me, too, the prisoner that escapes is more helpful to Pip than the rich person is, even though it seems like that shouldn't be the case. There's something kind of beautiful in that to me. I love the coincidences in this book, too. Charles Dickens has a lot of fun with coincidences. I don't believe in the rule that Pixar sets forth that coincidences shouldn't be used or that they're cheating. I love them. I mean, they can happen in life. I've had coincidences happening to me. Maybe not to the level of Charles Dickens, but there's almost like a philosophy, though, towards the coincidences. So I really like the philosophy of the coincidences. But I know I'm putting David Copperfield above Great Expectations. It's close. I think from a cultural standpoint, Great Expectations does something more than David Copperfield. It really captures people, I think. Whereas David Copperfield is just kind of standing by himself. There's this whole world to Great Expectations. But if I had a complaint, I don't know, the writer couldn't decide on an ending. I'll also say it's probably a little too long and intense for some people. It's not a fun read like She. And now we move in to the greatest book ever written, Don Quixote. This book, to me, is in a league of its own. It's in a lot of ways greater than any of the books on this list. You know me. If you've watched my show, you know I'm a huge fan of Don Quixote. I have a statue in the living room. I did a Halloween video where Don Quixote fought the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Pennywise the Clown and Frankenstein. He won against them all, of course. But I've given it to like family members, and they've told me that it was a little too much for them. I don't understand. I think it's fun. This is one of the funnest books I have ever read. I mean, if you like The Lord of the Rings, I cannot imagine that you won't like Don Quixote. And maybe it's the translation you're reading. I think the Penguin translation is the best one. That is the one that you should read. But yeah, it's about Don Quixote and Sancho. Don Quixote thinks that he's a knight, and he goes around slaying pretend giants. And yeah, I think it's hilarious. It's actually probably the funnest book I've ever read. That's just me. I can't, in fact, not give it an official recommendation. If nothing else, it's going to be the biggest book. Like, it's going to be a book that's really going to, like, you know, it's going to, I don't know. It's not that long, really. It's 400 pages, and then there's another 400 pages because it's two books, like The Count of Monte Cristo. So just read the first 400 pages, and if you don't like it, you don't have to read the second part. You can just ignore that. But you're probably going to want to read the second part if you read the first part. I really do think it flows smoothly too. I guess I will admit I'm not the biggest fan of the ending. I get what Miguel Cervantes was trying to say, but I don't think he said it very well. He was kind of trying to say, like, this is dangerous, what Don Quixote felt, because it could get people hurt, and it did get people hurt. So he was right. He ended it a little too abruptly, but then again, you also have 800 pages of it running perfectly. I mean, I'll never forget some of the fantasy scenes, like them going up into the stars, and them going and like Sancho actually swearing that he sees giants and that he saw Don Quixote slay giants. Read it. Yeah. Just read it. Just give it a try. And maybe you won't like it, but I'm willing to risk that. Next up is The Lord of the Rings. I'm going to go ahead and put it above David Copperfield. I think on my original top 5 book list that wasn't official, this is the official one, I said that it was number 4, but it's Tolkien. I mean, and I don't even think, do I need to talk about Lord of the Rings? You all know it. It's Frodo, and he goes to destroy the ring in Mount Doom. It's 3 stories of that. I was surprised re-listening to this in the car, how many like beautiful like moments there were and all the dreams. Because when I read it when I was a kid, I just didn't like recognize that. This is a really good book, though. I mean, I recommend reading it too. I give this an official recommendation, even though it is long. It's 3 parts, so you can read 1 part, 2 part, and you know you can kind of feel it out, feel if it's your thing. It's Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's Lord of the Rings. Negative, though, real quick. Maybe Tom Bombadil scene and maybe the Old Forest weren't super necessary. Maybe they could have cut it out. Next up, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Okay, so I didn't include this on my previous list when I was doing it. I regretted it, and I decided to put it on this list. The Wind, probably. I'd say Gone with the Wind was better, though. I don't think I could put it, though. Yeah. Okay. Below, I could put it above. I'm surprised how much I liked The Hunchback of Notre Dame, because I didn't think it was going to be like my thing, really. But yeah, it was. Quasimodo, he's like this deformed man, and he ends up falling in love with Esmeralda. And it's so touching to see him finally as this animal find this emotion of love, and he feels this love towards this person, and you know he's not going to get the girl, and he probably doesn't deserve the girl after what he does, but you want him to get the girl at the end. You do. It is kind of a romance story that doesn't work out. I'll admit, even Victor Hugo had a problem with the ending, and maybe that's my complaint with it too, but it's also very tragic. So I couldn't officially recommend this, but it's short at least. So there's that. Crime and Punishment. Yeah, that's going pretty high. Should I put it above Great Expectations? I just plain flat forgot to put this on the list. I just thought about it after I did it, and it definitely deserves to be on it. Yeah, I put it above Great Expectations. Another book by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and it's about, oh, by the way, none of you have been commenting, have you? Oh, no. Late to the live. Adding to my need to read list. What do you think about The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse? I've saw the short. I haven't actually watched the little short film. War and Peace is a stable book, super long but super worth it. Yeah, I think it is too. It's funny. My dad was like, I want to read War and Peace. It's said to be the greatest book in Russian literature. I want to read War and Peace. So he got it from the library, and that he had it. I guess we kind of forgot about it, but like 3 months later, the library starts complaining because he's had it for so long. They want to give someone else a chance to read it. And my mom went to see what page he was on. He was only on page 3. So then I bought him the book, and he's still only on page 3. I think he's given up. Sorry. This is the most wonderful book I've ever read. Which one was that? That is actually really funny. Yeah. Notre Dame is a very heartwarming and wholesome one. It is. It's a very good. I have actually. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I will. I have actually written a version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, not too long, like 100 pages, where Quasimodo ends up with Esmeralda, just because I was so disappointed by the ending. I just wanted them to be together. Lord of the Rings, yeah, oh, so good. It's there's so much in it too, like just like so many like fantastical creatures. Tolkien is definitely fun for being like this old British college professor that studies Beowulf and these old Norse tales all the time. He really does. He's really a fun like book writer. That is actually really funny. And okay, so we got them all, don't we? Yeah, yeah, we got them all. A Christmas Carol, Call of the Wild. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Crime and Punishment. So this was a hard one to find out how to pronounce. Rodion Raskolnikov. Rodion Raskolnikov is is a man who is kind of just a regular person at the beginning. He's clearly mentally insane, so he hasn't like been able to make a life for himself in Russian society. But he ends up getting like this fascination with killing this old woman, and it's really weird because sometimes he'll like meet people, and they'll be like kind of whispering to themselves that they want to kill the old woman, and then he ends up doing it, and it's about him like basically trying to get away with it. And what happens in the end doesn't usually happen in these kind of stories. A lot of writers wouldn't have the restraint to go in the direction that Fyodor Dostoevsky did. He put a different spin on this kind of story for sure, which is my favorite part about it. It's also such an engaging story. Like I especially love that old guy and his like dream he has, and like the buildup. Fyodor Dostoevsky is so good with the buildup and so good with like exploring an insane person's mind. In a lot of ways, it's definitely at the same level as Karamazov. It's just Karamazov is a lot longer, which helps it. I could almost recommend this book because I think a lot of people would like it. Uh, There's a Russian novel though. I'd say, yeah, I'll say yeah. Official recommendation. Why not? And the only negative I could say about it, again, because I have to say something bad, because I don't believe that any book's perfect, so you can always just come up with something. I don't like. I don't like how hard it is to pronounce the names. I don't know. No, I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a pretty perfect book. I guess yeah. Just I don't like how hard it is to pronounce the names. Is going to be my complaint. I don't have any. But yeah, I guess that's it. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I'm not going to talk too much about because I'm not going to do an official ranking of it at 100% yet. I want to do only 25, and I'm sure I don't have 25 here. I'm going to have to put something else in the D category. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28. So we're going to have to remove two. I guess it's going to have to be Call of the Wild and Robinson Crusoe. So obviously these books are definitely 100%. Just because this is a joke, we're going to put them in the D tier. I have to decide on just 25. These are definitely going to be 100% though, just so you know. We're just going to leave them there. And I'll just make sure we got everything right. And I will go ahead and do the official ranking of the top 25 greatest books of all time. Okay. Am I sure? I gotta be sure about this. I think I am. Well, wait. So these don't count, but they do count, is basically what I'm saying. So, at number 1 for the greatest books of all time, definitely, no question, officially recommend it. I think it's probably the most fun I've ever had reading a book, actually. Don Quixote. At number 2, The Brothers Karamazov. At number 3, The Lord of the Rings. At number 4, David Copperfield. At number 5, Les Miserables. At number 6, The Count of Monte Cristo. At number 7, Gulliver's Travels. At number 8, A Confederacy of Dunces. At number 9, Lolita. At number 10, Crime and Punishment. At number 11, Great Expectations. At number 12, Gone with the Wind. At number 13, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. At number 14, Moby Dick. At number 15, Anna Karenina. At number 16, War and Peace. At number 17, She. At number 18, 1984. At number 19, Little Women. At number 20, Madame Bovary. At number 21, A Christmas Carol. At number 22, Notes from the Underground. At number 23, East of Eden. At number 24, Catch-22. And at number 25, It by Stephen King. Well, we have had an adventure tonight. We had one episode where everything went wrong. It was terrifying. It was cursed. But we had an episode right now that I really enjoyed doing. I love talking about these books. And I don't want to keep you up much longer. It is late. But thank you all for joining me. There's definitely a lot of other books I'd put on this list, especially modern titles. I felt bad for not putting more modern titles, even though it's 200 years of literature. I mean, it's hard, you have to pick. And a lot of the old books do have that, people have been reading them for so long. You do know that they've done well. So yeah, there is that. So it's a little unfair to modern, but it has to be done at some level too. But some modern stories I do like Life of Pi, The Book Thief. I could definitely put it 100%, some of those books. And even some older stories. There's just Nicholas Copernicus. Really like, of course, Frankenstein, Dracula, and Harry Potter. I definitely love Harry Potter, make no mistake. But, it was a competitive list. And I'd say, take this as just a sign to just grab something from the bookshelf and sit back, have a cup of tea, and read a book and go on an adventure and see what you can find. A lot of these books I do truly recommend, like Don Quixote, Lord of the Rings, She, Call of the Wild, Robinson Crusoe, A Christmas Carol. You might find yourself being able to connect with something you didn't think you'd connect with. And, maybe you'll find like the kind of book that was meant for you. I mean, maybe you'll find your own spirit animal, as some might say, your own Patronus. But there's a lot of great adventures out there. Go have one. Oh, wait. The hardest names usually have the best books, it seems. LOL. Yeah, I really love Russian novels a lot. Uh, yeah. I mean, I have to choose these kind of books too because this is the 25 greatest books of all time. I have to try to be professional. I can't just go like, even though I mean, I was really tempted to put Charlotte's Web on this list or Silas Marner too. Actually, that's a good recommendation. Go read Silas Marner, really good book. And Death of Ivan Ilyich. I'm looking at my cupboard. I was gonna go like Adventures of Sherlock Holmes or Hamlet or something like that, or Beowulf, but those don't really count. Beowulf's like a poem. Sherlock Holmes is short stories. I mean, H.P. Lovecraft's also short stories, and Hamlet's a play. I didn't want to do any true stories too, so that's the reason why those things weren't on this list, or like the Bible wasn't on this list because I'm only going like true fantasy fiction written by a writer. Them trying to understand life. But I've kept you all for too long, and I guess I'm just gonna have to say goodbye, even though I don't want to. Talking about this just fills me with electricity. My favorite books and my favorite films. It's just, man, I just love talking about them. Thank you for making time to do this. I have many good books to read now. Please do, especially. I would highly recommend, of course, A Christmas Carol, and I have to recommend Don Quixote. Such a good book, and she's really good. But with that said, let me end off on the line that I meant to end off on. There's a lot of good adventures out there. Go have one.